Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. We appreciate your viewership. Let's get started with our weather, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard, hard-working crew, taking care of everyday comfort needs. And man, hasn't it been comfortable this week? High 83, low 68 tonight. We're looking at some really good weather. A little bit of rain maybe coming in next week, but we need some little bit of rain. So moving on with our water temperature, brought to us by Alco Electric out of Lynn Haven. Today is 76, and you know how I like to keep records. I do all the shows every day. Gail does this outline, so I have the record. I want to see how fast the water temperature went up, and like I say, 76 today, and today is the 25th of April. I look back March the 25th, exactly 1 month ago today, it was 67 degrees. It's going up 9 degrees in a month. Now that's quite a jump, and that's why we're seeing all these fishing pictures, people catching all these fish in the surf and along the shoreline. Same way with the freshwater. Okay, our river reading brought to us by the good folks at Panama City Coca-Cola. The river's getting right. Apalachicola at Bluntstown is at 8.3. It's steady. And the Choctawhatchee at Caryville, 3.7, and it's steady. And I always use that term, getting right, because I just have such fond memories of the old timers talking about that. Mr. Chester, talking to my dad, Mr. Chester is getting right. And it brings back a lot of good memories. All right, the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Looking at low tide this morning at 5. Well, it's really, we have neap tides. I won't even give you the times on it. Neap tides today. Let's go into our fish and game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. 9:45 to 11:45 this morning, tonight. 10:11 to 12:11. Wind, again, pretty steady, southeast at about 10 to 20. That sounds like a broken record, doesn't it? Let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We want to take a look at Shark Tracker. We haven't done it this year. We always try to do it as the spring and summer comes on and fall, but then we sort of cut it off in the wintertime. But we haven't done Shark Tracker in a long time. This is the first time, and I'm fascinated with it. They can really follow where these big sharks are going. And I'm going to show 4, and it's sort of updated since we showed it last year. We've got the names at the bottom now. They've got the names of the sharks. So I'm going to start from left to right. And Lord knows where the names come from. Some of them are named after people and different things. But anyway, D-O-L-D, we're going to look at Dole. All right, Dole was tagged just 55 days ago. It's a white shark. Okay, so I'm going to go down here where it says show full track. All right, here's the full track. So start up there around, don't a lot of them start up there between Jacksonville and Savannah. See where it started up there. And basically, he just took a nice little vacation, went down the peninsula, spent some time in the Keys, and came over into the Gulf, and sort of just moved around and checking things out. That's a young shark. Okay, now let's go back to this. Let's go back to number 2 is Morado. Okay, that's the one down here at the Keys. So we'll check out Morado, and they just tagged 15 days ago. Again, this is they talk about them and everything. Another white shark. Here's a full track. Really. This one they just tagged him, but in 15 days, he's headed south. And you wonder what, they just hit some kind of current and all, but this is sort of typically atypical because he's headed straight down south. All right, let's go back to the third one now. The third one is Hannah. This is the one that I was looking last night. This is the one I want to talk about. Hannah, okay? Just tagged 11 days ago. All right? Show full track right here. Uh-oh. All right, look. They tagged them all up here around Jacksonville. Look right here in the center of the screen, Daytona Beach. If you were at Daytona Beach, I'm gonna tap on that little where it pinged right there on the water. April the 16th, 9 days ago, he was on land. I mean, he came. Look at there. Yeah, I don't want to look. That's just scary, really. Then he headed back out. Couldn't find something to eat, so he headed back out. But that was like in 11 days. All right. I better tell your friends if they live down there in that area, be careful. All right, let's go to the last one, Breton. This is a cool one too. Breton, all right, Breton, now this one's traveled 75,000 miles. Now it's been like several years, okay? So I'm gonna show the full track. Check this out. Is that amazing? Now first thing that stood out to me, this one never came into the Gulf. But man, look where he has an amazing record as far as his same track going back and forth, even though it's out in Atlantic more. I'm gonna go out to the furthest one to the east. I'm gonna tap that one right there. And in 2022 in November, he was right there. Isn't that cool? And let's see, I'm gonna go back here to Daytona Beach, way down here to the left, right there, January in 2023. He was on shore right there, January 23. Okay. So that's enough on short tracker. I just thought you'd get a kick out of it. I do. It's amazing what all goes on. But that one on Daytona Beach hitting the water, that's scary. Okay, I have all kind of pictures. Let me see where we're going to get started. Sometimes I'm at meetings and all, and have a little bit of spare time in between a morning meeting and an afternoon meeting or whatever. I have 45 minutes or something. If I'm in the downtown or St. Andrew area, I just drive out to St. Andrew and park right there and just sit around and meditate and read and watch the birds and watch the fishermen. So here I was down here the other day, big old heron. This was Tuesday of this week. I was in between some school board meetings and but check this one out. He landed right in front of my truck. I'm parked right here looking at the bay. I picked up my phone. And he was itching all over, so he just started feeding himself. Beautiful heron, and about 30 seconds here. But I sit there fascinated, always wondering how in the world do those things survive and find enough to eat, and all the hot weather, cold weather. And I don't know the lifespan of them, but they're just cool birds. And so he kept doing that. Seriously, he came and landed on that piling right in front of my truck because he thought I was going to throw some food out. It really did, and if I'd had any, I would have. But anyway, all right, let's move on. This is my buddy Terry Morris. Okay, we're going to talk about. He sent this picture here. Okay, I'm going to read it first. Your comments Monday morning about Charlie Hendricks prompted my memory about this trip with him from the late '80s. I think Bobo was captain. I am on the left. Charlie is third from the left. He was the best. All right, let's blow up this picture here. Let me see if I got it. I'm going to blow it up right here. Okay, there's Terry Morris on the left, and Charlie Hendricks third from the left. Now, is that not a good fishing trip from the 80s? You know those guys had a wonderful time. I don't know the others, but Bobo was captain. A couple of them look familiar, but what a fun trip. And Terry Morris, great guy, Terry Morris. All right, one more real quick. This is funny, well, sort of funny. On the Carabel fishing page, this is anonymous. Dear Lanark Pontoon Goober, stop riding up the trough off Dog Island. If you were a fisherman, you would fish the trough and not pontoon it, spooking the fish, knucklehead. Okay, that right there, that's the problem we're going to face with rentals and different people that don't know what they're doing, and you have people, you want to fish that trough, and then some guy just riding up and down it. So that's just a challenge we're going to have as outdoorsmen, as fishermen. But I thought that was well worded. It wasn't ugly or anything, but just called him a goober. Take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I wanted to touch base on this again. The worm grunting, Sop Choppy has it. This is the fifth, 2030, or they've been doing 20-something years. Anyway, I get a kick out of it. I hesitate on talking about it because I want to cover it thoroughly. So I'm going to do a little piece by piece at a time. I want to shoot some video, but to give you the background on it, as a kid, a young kid, probably, preschool, first, second grade, whatever, I can remember vivid memories of somehow on a Saturday morning, I was staying with my granny and papa's house down there in Hospital, and one of my uncles come by, and we'd go down to the woods, a group of us, and way down toward the swamp where it was wet, and they'd drive a stake in the ground, but it wasn't called a stake, it was called a stob. Drive the stob in the ground, and I'd be walking around looking for snakes and all, and it had old metal, like old axe, and he'd rub it back and forth like this, and the ground would vibrate, and the worms would come up, earthworms. and they would get a big old can full of them, and that's what they would fish with. They'd take them in the backyard and fish with them during the week or next weekend or whatever. And that's worm grunting, and I just I thought it was pretty normal, and then come to find out there were different parts of the country were doing it, but mainly the southeastern United States. So I've been tickled looking. Of course, you go on YouTube, and everybody's an expert now on YouTube. They're showing how to do it. But I want to do a video, or get some other folks to do some video who've done it for generations and look at it. But just a real quick touch base with you. Well, here's Wikipedia. This tells what worm grunting is a technique used to collect earthworms for bait by creating vibrations and causing the worm to surface. Okay, so that's sort of what I said. And I got this comes from Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt done a study on it. Can you believe that? For generations, people living around the Apalachicola National Forest have collected earthworms. Okay, generations now, using a mysterious technique called worm grunting. Gary Breville left. He's an expert grunter, so he's a couple of generations. But this over east of us in Sop Choppy, and then. But anyway, this is a lot of times. This is what you end up with. Let's see. Right here. Did I pick it up? Okay. It must have froze up. Anyway, let's try it again. You end up. This is wife here. End up these right here. Okay. But you didn't, and they were actually, some people did it and sold them, actually sold them to the bait and tackle store. All right, so anyway, we lost it, but it's a technique, and we're gonna talk about doing it. Here it is right here. Okay, that's his wife, Audrey, but she got a bucket full of them right there. And let's see, look at them. They look good, don't they? But anyway, like I say, it's funny when the Vanderbilt University was did a study, that mysterious form called worm grunting. I've got a bunch of more pictures. I'm not gonna get through all of them, but let me pick back up where we were. One of the things I wanted to talk about, I want to show Evan Zackrell. Evan's a young man, but he bass fished his whole life growing up. And he's still bass fishing, but he's gotten into catching some pompano. And the other day, he started, well, I say the other day, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, he was catching some pompano. He really loves it. That's the thing about it. If you love fishing, you love bass fishing, brim fishing, cat fishing, pompano fishing, all of it. All right. This is a long story here. I think I'm gonna save this story for later. Let me go to some other more fresh pictures right here. I want to really get this going. Earth Day. Let me see. Right here. Earth Day. This is tomorrow, folks, over here at the Biofeeder Center. It's going to be, there's 20-something vendors. This is going to be really nice. Admission's $10 and $7 for young kids are free, but that money goes to support that big old area over there, Earth Day. And look at all the things they're going to be having. There's all the people coming on that have tents and everything. I mean, a bunch of, that's 20-something vendors right there. And then you're going to have different days at 9:30. You have a bobcat, okay, from those times. The second one is the foxes, and then different things. Then right there next to the bottom, the raptor, they'll actually feed those, and eagle feeding. I mean, the kids get to see these things actually happen. They've got them pretty well trained. They feed them at the same time, and these eagles will fly down. And well, I'm just really proud of E.O. Wilson Biofeeder Center. And okay. I ran across this, I had to share this with you. Instead of finding a new form on social media, we should all go back to bonfires, tailgate parties, night fishing, porch sitting. This is what, in the Florida Panhandle, this has been going on for generations. We're not doing that as much. Young people definitely aren't doing the old tailgate parties they used to. Of course, sometimes they sort of got out of hand, but still sitting on tailgate, telling good stories is good. Roger Kirkland. This is the West Bay Bridge. Almost every Friday, we're talking about catching fish off the West Bay. We're on the West Bay Bridge. Just a big old drum. His little girl, his daughter, Danielle, caught him right there. And there he that's a big one right there. Roger went to Arnold High School. And from that area, here he is releasing them. Those little big old drums, they're not good to eat, but they're fun to catch. Okay, one more quick one. The Choctawhatchee River. Catfishing and shell cracker, and let's see, 27 catfish, 7 shell cracker, and 1 bluegill. Okay, the Choctawhatchee River is getting right. Okay, so we got some more pictures. I just want to get you all fired up for our fishing forecast and what's going on with that and everything. But now we're going to do our drawings. And we're going to add some names. We're going to add names all year. This Bobby Williams sent me a message on Panhandle Outdoors. It seemed like a couple of other people sent me messages. If I have not added your name, please send them again. Sometimes things literally get lost in the shuffle because I have a lot of things I shuffle around, okay? So we add that name. All right, here we go. How about a fresh mullet plate at Gene's Oyster Bar? That sounds good, don't it? Maybe something good to eat today. All right, the winner is, okay, all the way from Abe Springs, Ansel Levy. Ansel's a great loyal viewer and a good outdoorsman. Ansel, enjoy the big mullet. All right, let's go down to Tropic Rock Seafood and get a $20 gift certificate. And that's going to Parker, Sarah Taylor, the Taylor family. All right. Now you got to buy a little bit more to feed your whole family. $20 may not go far enough. All right, the big red snapper. I love these familiar names I get to see every Friday. From West Bay, Sammy Sewell. How about that? I know all three of those folks are in the family. Sammy, long time family that's actually homesteaded back there in West Bay. I love it. All right, we're going to take a break, come back with our famous Friday fishing forecast. Okay, welcome back to our famous Friday fishing forecast, brought to us by Jessica Ling, Insurance and Financial. Jessica's a great young lady and got a great staff up there in Lynn Haven to do any kind of business with you, so check out that company. Good folks there. We're looking, I get tickled because I like to look at the previous ones, and a couple weeks ago I was talking about the top three. We were talking about Spanish, redfish, and pompano about the last 2 or 3 weeks. Our top three has now changed with the water temperature doing what it is. Now I'm talking about some saltwater. Number one has been the drum. You saw the pictures in the early part of the week where Fred Myers and Greg Gladden, these fishing guides and all, ran in that huge school of black drum, and they had a ball with their customers. So drum, that's that big school of them. And you just saw the picture of one called the West Bay. Of course, number two, the pompano has been on fire this week, and hope and pray I get to go tomorrow. And they caught some first cobia off the pier. A couple of different piers, Santa Rosa Pier and locally here, some cobia are in, so it's interesting to see. Now the Spanish are still here, all these other things I mentioned earlier are still here. And on yesterday, there was a tarpon that was hooked up, so tarpon are here. I'll tell you what's going on, I've been doing some research on it and seen some really, talking about the central part of the Gulf has heated up a lot more than it ever has. And so the ripple effect is bringing in those fish. It's interesting watching all of that. So that's good. On the chart, I was talking about how it's gone up 9 degrees in 1 month, and that's pretty unusual to go up that fast, that quick. So anyway, let's go to freshwater. Okay, I just hit us on saltwater, freshwater. You saw the pictures this week. I had 2 or 3 different people send me pictures and email me. The mayflies are just starting to hatch. That is a great sign. It's not even May yet, and they're hatching. Of course, next week will be May, but early hatch on mayflies. Remember, they'll hatch out, then stop, and then hatch out over here. So we talk about this every springtime. It's exciting times. The mayflies hatching, chocolate hatching, the brim bite. You've seen the pictures. Catfish, brim. Real steady. Talked to Billy Grantham, and he's given a good report on what Billy on the show Monday. Seminole's on fire. Shell cracker are biting big time on Lake Seminole, the big river. And we talked about how the river, instead of just falling out real quick, it's been a slow, steady drop. And when you have that situation there, then what you have a situation where there's not that big movement going on, just slow, steady drop, and the fish aren't trying to scramble. They're looking for bait in a steady area. So Lake Seminole has been hot. And another thing too, these sloughs, when the river's high, the sloughs will fill up. We'll talk about the sloughs filling up. And then when there's a slow drop, they're moving out really slow, so the catfish and all feeding at the mouth, instead of when it falls out real fast, everything happens so fast when the river's dropping like that or rising like that. But slow, steady. The sloughs are really good. You get up there and start looking for some mayflies. But most of the mayflies now, or the ones we fished lately, they're right on the river, just around a bend and all. So be looking for those. Okay, let's go to our map real quick. Let's go to St. Joe Bay. I go there a lot because I spend a lot of time down in that area. And we're talking about Walter catching that big that big redfish the other day, and it's right here on Town Beach. The whole area there is good. The redfish are excellent. But again, I'll tell you, my favorite place is fishing around Black's Island, around those right there, around Black's Island, and of course coming up the side here. And we're talking about surf fishing. The state park area, you just can't get any better than that. If you can surf fish right here. But the only thing about going to state park, they don't open up till 8 o'clock. Okay, let's jump over here to West Bay. West Bay, there's been some good fishing here over in West Bay. The West Bay Bridge, you saw the big drum come out of it. And also West Bay Point right there. I don't keep moving pretty quickly over here to Choctawhatchee Bay, Black Creek, and the Choctawhatchee River. So many of the catches have been coming in this area right in here, the bay and the feeder creeks. Okay, and go right up here to the plantation. That's where, okay, the old plantation there, and coming down the creek. All right, East River. All these rivers have been producing good catches. J.B. Hillard has sent some pictures on a steady basis, and he's going to be in town today, and he's going to go to Simply Seafood and get something good to eat. All right, so I didn't touch base with Carabel. You've seen, last week we talked a lot about the Carabel River. So here you go if you want to catch fish this weekend. First of all, go, get up and go. And if you spend 1 hour, 2 hours, or spend half a day or the whole day, but go fishing. And all kinds, you can wade fishing is really good now. Surf fishing is great. Get out of your boat, go to West Bay, East Bay, Choctawhatchee Bay, getting on the big river, put in at Sneeze Landing. There's so many places to go, Lake Seminole, Lake Talquin. I mean, we are blessed here in Florida Panhandle about all the places we can go fishing. I mean, I marvel at it. All the way from, the little old creeks like Teloja Creek, little old Black Creek, and all these little feeder creeks. You can just catch a mess of fish. Bring them home, clean them, and have a fish fry. That sound like a good time? Been a good week. Run out of time again. I appreciate your viewership. We've really enjoyed bringing the show to you this week. Next week, got some good guests coming on, all kind of exciting things. I appreciate all the feedback y'all give us and all the good positive things that we try to keep going on here. So y'all do something good for someone else today. You have a great weekend. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.